What's up, guys and gals? Your host with the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the next piece of One Piece. This is chapter 1046, entitled Raizo. I'm not 100%, but didn't we already get a chapter entitled Raizo? I really did. I thought we did. I really thought we did, like back on Zoe or something like that. I could be wrong, but maybe it's Raizo's something or something like that. Maybe it's not exactly the same, but I was like, Raizo, is this an old chapter? Like, for some reason, did that fluctuate with you guys? Did you guys read that chapter title and go, isn't there already a chapter called Raizo? But anyways, that's not the point. The point is, I understand why Raizo here is a key point in the chapter. We don't actually jump completely away from the Kaido-Luffy fight. We still see Kaido-Luffy fighting at the beginning of the chapter and the end part of the chapter, which is good. I don't want to jump away for too long. It's time to clean up Wano. Wano is... A lot of people are done with it, right? A lot of people are done. We've reached the conclusion. We know how shit's going. We've got our Gear 5th. We've got our Joy Boy stuff. We've got. Everybody else is defeated. It's time. It's time to just clean up Wano. I would argue by chapter 1050, we should see the official defeat of Kaido, and we'll be into post-Wano probably around chapter 1052. Because of course you're going to need, or at least 1055, because what you're going to need is the next few chapters are going to be the conclusion of Act 3. Then you have to go into your Act 4, right? Your cleanup stuff. We got to see everybody celebrating, everybody happy. We're going to have some lore stuff. You could argue that's post-Wano, but I think, no, that's more still the end of Wano. And then we do post-Wano in between the Wano arc ending and then the next arc, right? So I'm not 100% on... My timing might be off. 1050 sounds a little short. That's only 4 chapters away, so maybe my estimations are pretty wrong there. But we do see the return of the cover serial, which we didn't get last week. The German 66 Cold-Blooded Voyage, volume number 9. A pair of intruders on Pudding's turf. So some people have shown up. Now, who are they? Are they from the Germa? Is it Judge and them coming back to try to... Get the kids. Who knows? A lot of people have speculated that that's what Judge and the rest of the Germa are going to go do. They are going to go rescue, the Sanji's brothers there. So, is what it is. As I said at the beginning of the chapter, we get Kaido versus Luffy still. And one thing to take away from this, and I've noticed a lot of people talking about this, is number one, Kaido. Kaido brings up awakenings. We do get a little shot of Zunisha talking about, like, he knows that this isn't the Joy Boy he remembers, but he thinks that, like, it's the same. It's Joy Boy. Joy Boy's come back. He said he would in a different form, sort of idea. Clearly, Zunisha knows a lot. Zunisha likely knows about the Void Century, about Joy Boy, about the Fishman Island thing, the regret. Probably has a lot more information in his brain than we do. And one of the big things here is just the fact that clearly it is, which is the theme of One Piece, inherited will. We've got a lot of inherited will going on here, and clearly Zunisha is recognizing that in Luffy. So the big thing, of course, Luffy does his classic, I'm going to become king of the pirates. But the thing that people are talking about, and I'm not 100% convinced that Kaido's not already pre-awakened. He's been awakened this whole damn time. Because remember, Zone Devil Fruit users, well, you could argue that Luffy, once again, now is a Zone Devil Fruit user, so it's a little, like, sus. It's a little suspect, right? But the idea is that Kaido talks about awakening, saying, I see that you finally realize what an awakening is. We call this an awakening. It's when your mind and your body are at their peak and they're working in synergy and stuff like that. And it goes to the maximum of your potential ability with your Devil Fruit. And what a crazy power you've got right now. I have never been in the impression that Kaido hasn't been using his awakening. He absolutely has one, but I always like to think that his full power as a dragon, using flame clouds, Boro breath, all that stuff, his massiveness of being a dragon was an awakening. Right? His hybrid form and everything, he's already awakened and we just haven't seen it because the only reference we have to an awakened Zone Fruits are from Impel Down. And what were they? Well, Crocodile sort of explained it. It's just that they're stupid durable. They didn't seem to come, like the Minotaurs and stuff, they didn't seem to come with any crazy bigger feats than a regular zone. They just seem to be a buff version of the same thing. And where this is the legendary fish fruit, I'm still of the gaze of the theory, or under the guise of the theory that, it was literally a koi fish fruit. It was the Magikarp Gyarados thing. I'm still, I'm on that. There's one flaw with this. There's one issue. Momonosuke. Momonosuke's devil fruit was copied after Kaido's. Considered a failure, yet Momo as a kid was able to turn into not only just a dragon, but a dragon that supposedly is a copy of the legendary fish fruit. So that's a bit of a problem. And just because he got older, now he's about the same size as Kaido. Or he's not exactly the same size, but he became a big dragon. So I would argue Momo, there's no way Momo has awakened it. My one little sliver of information that, because here's the biggest problem, is that if Kaido is awakened, we can all assume Kaido's awakened. It's like assuming Garp has conquerors. It's just facts, right? Mihawk's got conquerors, Garp has conquerors. We know this shit, right? We know it. Even if it hadn't been told to us, we know it. The big problem here is that if Kaido hasn't been using his awakening the entire time, then Wano ain't just about to end. This ain't the end of the battle. This is going to go, and Luffy's, at this point, this is getting ridiculous. If Kaido decides to pull out an awakening, when we've been talking about Kaido in this chapter and previous chapters, Kaido's on his last legs, the flame clouds are going away, this, that, the other thing. Kaido's getting beaten down, Luffy is, doing his thing. At this point, if Kaido all of a sudden pulls out an awakening, all that's going to do is extend the battle unnecessarily, and Wano's going to be even longer, and I would argue Kaido's an absolute idiot for not using awakening up until this point. Why wouldn't he have been using an awakening up till this point? So there's a bit of an issue here. My one silver lining, though, because the one thing is, he could still be awakened. He could be awakened this entire time. The thing is, because with zone fruits, it's a little different, right? The one thing is that if the Magikarp Gyarados thing, as I said, Momonosuke is the problem. However, Momonosuke's devil fruit ability could have been copied by Vegapunk. We don't know the details of this, but the way the fruit operated, it was copied from an awakened user already, right? Potentially, if Vegapunk were to copy Katakuri's or Dofi's devil fruit ability from their awakened users already, potentially the one who eats that failure fruit, I'm just arguing, would potentially already have the awakened abilities as naturally as when Luffy ate the Gumma Gumma no Mi and his arms stretched, right? Well, not the Gumma Gumma apparently, but you know what I mean. So that's the only thing in this chapter, something that people have been talking about, and I want to just put in my 2 cents about. It's a bit of a problem if Kaido hasn't been using his awakening up to this point. That's a bit of an issue, because him not having an awakening adds to a bit of an issue, I would argue, because there's just absolutely no reason why he wouldn't be awakened at this point. And problem number 2, as I said, if he's not using his awakening and he does end up using it next chapter after, that's a bit of an issue, right? Because now we're extending this fight where Luffy is on his very last legs here. That's the point. Kaido has been worn down by more than just Luffy, but he's been worn down by tons of fighters right now. Luffy is in this crazy form that seems ridiculous, as Kaido even brings up, your power is ridiculous. And now we have an issue there. So Kaido mentioning the awakening thing, people are going to have their own thoughts and theories. I'm just sitting back and I'm hoping that Kaido's already pre-awakened, the Magikarp Gyarados thing is true, and Momonosuke is just an exception because of Vegapunk's fucking around. Not any proof of one way or another. At least that's what I'm hoping, because I'm ready for, like a lot of people. I like Wano. A lot of people don't like Wano. I like Wano, but it's time. Wano has done its thing. It's time to move on. We need to finish off Wano and move on with the rest of the story. I'm fully on board with that. So anyway, they continue to attack and stuff like that. So Kaido and Luffy keep going off on each other. And here's the thing, they do some really cool fighting and stuff, but the whole castle is now, the whole island is almost engulfed in flames and everything, right? Here's where we get to jump away and we get to see a lot of people doing their doing their thing. We see Nami and Chopper. We get to see Beppo and the pirates. We see Brooke. We see Robin. We see Frankie with Zoro. I think we see Sanji too, trying to find a way out for the Geisha girls. But we also see Zoro carrying. We see Apu. We see. I don't think we see Kid, but we do see. We see quite a few people. We jump basically to most of the Straw Hats. We do see Frankie carrying Zoro. And Zoro looking extremely beat up, and Frankie's quite worried that Zoro's in seriously bad shape, like he's gonna die. So Zoro's passed out. Frankie's trying to do his best, and we also have a lot of the people taken over by the Dongo sort of idea, by the Kuri Dongo. We have a lot of the Smile users with that also going like, please save us, please help. And we have a bunch of samurai looking for a way out, and a lot of them are in different sections with different people. Now, here is where the chapter is called Raizo for a great reason. There's a great reason for this, is because Jinbei with, of course, the power to manipulate water, fishmen, karate, and all that stuff, he is the man. He's got the ability to do this. He could probably, as I said, a fishman in water, laughing. The problem is they're on a damn island, and I'm pretty sure a bird pond, a little bird bath, is not enough water for Jinbei to utilize. Now, some people might call this a bit of an ass pull here. I'm not too worried about that realistically, because they were going to find out a way to save everybody. I don't think everybody was going to die in the fire. Kaido brings this up at the beginning of the chapter, and Luffy basically says, listen, I don't care about that. I trust that they're going to figure it out. Nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to get hurt. It's all good. It's all good, right? So this is where Jinbei and Raizo are facing across from each other, and they both admit their mutual respect sort of idea. I mean, a great Jinbei moment as well, because Jinbei is here to save the day. Sorry, Sanji fanboys, third strongest in the crew is right fucking here. And he shows up, and he just like, all right, Raizo's like, I am truly grateful for you, Jinbei Dono, for, believing in me. And once again, Jinbei just speaking facts, speaking volumes. I love Jinbei's attitude. It's just so good, because it's just like, Luffy chose your guys' side in the war. There is no... I don't even need to trust you. I just automatically, if Luffy put his faith in you, then that means you automatically get my faith in you. There is absolutely no doubt or reason in my mind to go against anything my captain has decided. And I'm like, this is why Jinbei has been a goddamn force. He has been... Remember, who was the one who pulled Luffy out of his depression? Remember, who was the one who to pull Luffy out of the worst moment in his life? It wasn't the Straw Hats. It wasn't Rayleigh. It wasn't Boa Hancock. It was Jinbei. Jinbei was there when Ace died. Jinbei saved Luffy, and then saved his body, and then saved his mind, saved his heart. Jinbei was the one to do the duty. You know what I mean? Like, so Jinbei, I can't praise. I could just spend the next 20 minutes just ranting about Jinbei and how badass Jinbei is. Jinbei is... I think I like Jinbei more than fucking Luffy, to be honest with you. I think Jinbei is clearly one of my favorite characters on a multitude of reasons. If you don't like Jinbei, I don't know what the hell you've been reading, So, but at the end of the day, Jinbei is just gotta be... He's just a man. He always is. Everything out of his mouth is goddamn perfect. It's gold. It always just carries a lot of weight. Not unlike Raizo here. This makes a lot of sense to me too, is that Raizo is remembering ever since the day that the Odin Castle was burned. Ever since the day that, Hiyori and Toki and everything was happening, that day 20 years ago when the castle went up in flames and everything happened, and you know what I mean? Raizo remembers the flames and remembers being useless. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't save the land, couldn't save the castles, couldn't save the people. He couldn't do anything. So he made a point. Back then, I couldn't protect Odin. I couldn't protect the castle. I couldn't do anything. So despite my power and my ninjutsu, it was all for naught. So when he was on Zou, and he found out all about the insane amount of the water and stuff when Zunisha was giving himself basically a bath, you know what I mean, like elephants do, he recognized and stored up an insane amount of water by the looks of it from Zou. And as he declares, it's the elephant bath restoration jutsu. And he just launches this spherical, this entire, hydro pump on steroids right at Jinbei. You know, he stored up all this water, and as he said, I will not allow people here, after all we've sacrificed, after everything we've done, I'm not going to let a mere fire, like you know, if we lose to Kaido, if we lost a big moment, it's a different thing. We go, no. After all we've accomplished in this raid, in this war, are you telling me we're just going to die because of a fire? I'm not letting this happen again. It happened 20 years ago, not this time, motherfucker. And Raizo pulling up. A lot of people have been saying that Raizo, not only pulling his weight, but Raizo is best scabbard. There's a solid argument for that. There's a solid argument. A lot of people are unhappy with the scabbards for a multitude of reasons, but Raizo, even with his ridiculous look, he really is pulling up here. He uses the water, gives it to Jinbei, and Jinbei pulling that shit like he's goddamn, he can manipulate water. Jinbei, remember, they're pirates. He's on the sea. He's going to be a force. I don't want to hear people telling me that he's not third strongest on the crew. I don't want to hear it. Ever since Jinbei joined the crew, Sanji was removed from that monster trio because this man can manipulate the goddamn sea itself and just throw it at devil fruit users if he feels like it. So let's go. Fishman karate, and he completely takes this entire torrent and he sends it and apparently can manipulate it to go to all floors and just drench and just get rid of this fire. And I'm like, awesome. So we see it go through, pierce through all the floors because water pressure just boom, boom. The PSI of this shit must be amazing. He just goes to town, hydro cannon, fishman jutsu, boom, baby. And he just manipulates the water to just flood the entire castle. It's absolutely awesome. And this is where we do jump back after we do see Yamato and Momonosuke, and they're still can't get off his own ass and basically say, look, you have to create flame clouds. This was the original plan. You got to do it right now because Kaido's on his last legs for Kaido's been apparently on his last legs for 20 chapters, so Christ knows anymore. But we get a final great shot of Kaido and Luffy smiling at each other as they face off. We see the thunder clouds coming down and Luffy goddamn wielding a Zeus lightning bolt. He thinks he's the god of Olympus. He grabs one of the lightning bolts, like he's gonna strike Kaido down with lightning. People wanted Eneru back, but fucking what do we need him for when we've got a Toon Force manipulating goddamn Luffy Bugs D Bunny up in here, grabbing lightning and gonna use it like goddamn, holy shit. That's all I can say, holy shit. So, it was still a very good chapter. I am glad that we're not jumping necessarily completely away from the Kaido-Luffy fight, because it is the end of the fight, as I said, unless I'm wrong about the awakening stuff, and then this fight's going to go on another 15 goddamn chapters, because there's going to be awakening, then there's going to be a power-up, then there's going to be an explanation, then there's going to be, so hopefully that's not the case. I'm really hoping we're at the end of the fight. The fight has been great. The whole Rooftop Gang, since the beginning of Rooftop Gang, it's been nothing but fire. The roof has been great, but it's time. It's time for the roof to come to collapse. It's time for the end, right? So that's my review on chapter 1046. As I said, I really enjoyed the chapter because I'm glad that we got to jump away for a little bit here and there, and we also got to, but we still stayed on the Luffy stuff. But we get to see where all the characters are at, what they're up to, what they're doing. Brook and Robin seem fine, that kind of deal. We see, as I said, Raizo and Jinbei, big moments there. This chapter should have been entitled Raizo and Jinbei or something like that. I don't know, but just calling it Raizo. I swear there's a chapter already called just Raizo, but I'm probably wrong about that. I don't think Oda's ever repeated chapter titles before, so I could be wrong about that too. But anyways, point of the matter is, this was a good chapter. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I believe we're on break next week. It didn't say that. It said something about what issue the next One Piece is going to come back in a certain issue, and I'm just assuming that's not the next one. So we might be on break, we might not. Somebody who knows the, WSJ schedule and number system, they probably know better. But anyways, point of the matter is, I like it. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget the fourth and most important thing, to drink but responsibly, as I always do. And we will see you guys back here next time for the next piece of One Piece. Chapter 1047, looking goddamn forward to it. Hope you guys are too, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.